So fucking Corey Anderson, poor guy.
Okay,
like he just keeps fucking getting there, and then keeps getting just drop back down.
Get put out. We've known about his chin.
I think that was a slight myth, because let's look at those two ones. All right, so this was way back in 2017 that he got put out twice. Jimmy Manuwa has made a name for himself knocking dudes out. That guy has power for days, and we know the last thing to go for guys is power.
Kind of, but also
he's always been a knockout artist. Jimmy Manuwa.
Also, do you remember that fight?
I don't remember the fight.
Because I remember that fight.
Okay, so
it was literally
15 out of 17 wins by knockout.
Literally,
but continue.
if I'm not mistaken, the only punch that he even landed in the fight completely deaded him, and it was a lead left hook, and it didn't even look that powerful. And Corey Anderson acted like he got shot with a fucking sniper.
OSP clean head kick.
That was
to
a
the
head
dome.
kick
To the dome.
Not gonna say shit.
Gonna drop any and everybody. Those next four fights.
Hold up. Gian Vellante.
Oh yeah, that was way back. That was way back.
He got dropped hard. Shogun dropped him twice.
Yeah, he did rattle him a couple times at the end of those fights.
He's chinny. He got hurt by Latifi in their fight. And then that's about it. And then he got knocked out again. He's been hurt.
He ate a couple of decent shots from both Glover Teixeira and Ilir Latifi in those fights and never got put out, which is why I thought there was a little bit of a myth based on the two things I said about Jimmy Manuwa and OSP. The Gian Vellante one, I'm kind of just throwing under the bus a little bit just because that was over 5 years ago.
And he was winning that fight and then he got caught.
And he's gotten better. He's definitely gotten better 100%. Since then too, right?
Now,
so I'm like, Jan Blachowicz put out Luke Rockhold, chinny as fuck already, right?
I will say one thing though about this knockout. This knockout I don't think had much to do with his chin at all, because if you watch it, he was just looking at the ground when it hit. So this was more about he didn't see it coming.
Look at that. 7 out of 26 wins by knockout for Jan Blachowicz. Yeah. And Luke Rockhold was the one before that. And before that, Ilir Latifi way back in the day where he hit him with the body kick. That was his debut. That was a nice one.
Yeah.
And then even before, so he's not really known to be a knockout puncher, which is why I didn't think it was much of a concern coming into this. Say what you want about, deading Luke Rockhold. It's deading Luke Rockhold, who's clearly not in it anymore. His chin is definitely gone. Yeah. That's one guy that we can say his chin is gone.
And also Luke Rockhold just never learned how to not keep his fucking chin up in the air and move his head. For some reason, he
was just so comfortable in his space thinking he would never get fucking knocked out. It was
his arrogance, whatever. He just wouldn't shore up that one thing.
The Bisping one was nuts, though. All Bisping did was just step forward and he was able to actually land on it.
And he whipped into the left hook. He knew he was going to be there and put all his power into that, and he just rocked him back. But I was telling you, as the fight was going, about a minute or two in, Blachowicz started to open up a bit with combos, and right away I was like, oh, Corey's going to go out. It just felt like it was a matter of time, because he started putting together these combos and they were hard shots and they were landing, and just the fact that he couldn't even get anything close to off with the wrestling or wasn't trying to wrestle, I was like, ooh, this is not a good look. And
you know what I think it was? So I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up, because I did see a couple of the people online saying that, Corey Anderson fell in love with his striking because he put out Johnny Walker. I don't think so.
I don't feel there was enough time for him to really get into mixing it up with wrestling.
That's what I mean. I thought he was just playing around on the feet to be able to eventually mix in the takedowns, because that's what you want to do as an overall game.
Exactly.
Jan Blachowicz probably knows that you're going into that fight trying to take this guy down and grind him out that way. But you got to set it up.
We knew who had the striking advantage. We knew Jan had the striking advantage. Corey knows that too. But you got to mix it up.
Exactly. Yeah. I saw way too many people out there trying to give him shit, saying oh, this guy thinks he's a striker now. Shut up.
It ended too quickly.
If you know anything about MMA, you know that this is the game plan to go if you want to implement your wrestling the smart way.
It was only 3-minute long fight. He didn't get a chance to use it. That's all there is to it.
It was that's one thing that kind of got me heated when I was looking on the Twitter timeline after the fights. I'm like, come on, guys. No, you guys need to be a little bit smarter than that.
That's a ridiculous argument. I will say though, you know what's funny? I looked up his record again right before, going into this fight.
Who's that, Corey?
Yeah. And it's actually not that impressive. I feel like we were boosting him up a little more than he should have been boosted. Because he keeps talking that he's got a chip on his shoulder, all this. Okay, he came back. You owned Patrick Cummins. That is not a very impressive win, okay? Patrick Cummins is retired now. He's just not high level. He's not good.
Yeah.
Glover Teixeira, very old. Okay, you controlled him too. Latifi, a lot of people... And I think even me included, if you go rewatch that fight, there's a strong argument to be made that Latifi won the fight.
Serious? I don't remember much about this, but let's see what MMA Decisions has.
I checked this out. MMA Decisions has more people winning the third round But it's one of those fights where it's like Latifi's body language made it look like he was so gassed and out of it. But when Corey engaged, Latifi was almost landing better. Like he landed the more damaging shots and Corey was just kind of pitter-pattering.
Yeah.
So there's a huge argument to be made that Latifi won the third round there. And Latifi's
the Johnny Walker one was impressive, though.
The Johnny Walker one was impressive. But outside of that, it's like, after 2 knockout losses, that's not the most impressive 4-fight win streak in the world.
But let's throw this out there, too. Light heavyweight division is a little bit salty, right?
That's why.
That's the main thing. I'm pretty certain that Ilir Latifi going into that fight was like number 5 or some shit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm honest. I'm pretty certain because I remember seeing a fight where I'm like, why is Ilir Latifi ranked number 5 here?
Okay, interesting. I don't know about that, but
because going into the Anderson fight,
he lost against Latifi.
Going into the Anderson fight, he was on a 2-fight winning streak. So I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if he was number 5.
I'm telling you, you could argue that Latifi won that fight based off like better shots landed. So it wasn't that impressive.
You got to take a grain of salt with his 4-fight winning streak, considering the fact that the state of the light heavyweight division. But this Jan Blachowicz fight, I think people need to chill out because I've already seen Ariel Helwani put out a poll saying who does John Jones fight next now, Jan Blachowicz or Dominic Reyes? And what I initially saw was Jan Blachowicz was winning that poll, and I'm like, this is recency bias, guys. This is
too much recency bias, man.
Give it 2 weeks to breathe. Like even us, I want to come back on the end of February, whatever our last episode is in February, and be like, all right, let's revisit this topic now. We've gotten the recency bias out of it. Who deserves a title shot?
I feel like the only other option outside of Reyes would have been Anderson had he won this fight.
Yeah.
And now that he's lost and he lost badly, I just don't see how you give it to Yan over Dominic Reyes. Yes, Blachowicz is on a good streak. 2 of those fighters, though, are middleweights moving up that never even fought in the division, okay? Yeah, good win over Corey Anderson. I'm still leaning Dominic Reyes for the rematch.
Okay, Dominic Reyes is not overwhelmingly, but he's winning
it out.
Okay, out of 36,700 votes, 54% are saying Dominic Reyes. So I'm glad that that's kind of being put to rest here because the fans are actually still on board with the rematch. You saw John, like cage side, like, I want it. Yeah. I think he's just trying to I guess it was in Albuquerque anyway, right? So
just one thing, just a little bit of an aside, sort of. If John Jones isn't fighting in a cage, he's such a weird, irritating guy. Is he not? Like, he's that guy who's like trying to fit in but doesn't know how to act.
That's what I thought Dominic Reyes was, though.
No, I got that. I understood what you were saying at first, but then
the cool guy trying to be at the cool party and shit.
The more I saw Reyes, I was like, no, it seems more natural. With John, it's like everything he fucking says and does, it's like he's just thinking about the eyes that are on him.
I guess I see that a little bit.
He's just so weird. He stood up. He's like, woo! Like, what are you wooing for? What the fuck are you doing? It's just so strange. Like,
he's trying to build it up. He's trying to get that clip for the promo.
Whatever, man. Just get into a fucking cage and fight. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't need to hear this guy talk.
This is kind of best case scenario though for like a Jan in terms of saying, all right, I'm ready to go. I fought 3 minutes. Didn't take any damage. Let's go in July.
Look, if you're Yan, you should be screaming from the fucking mountains about a title shot. You just knocked out the guy who was probably going to be getting the next shot, if not a rematch with Reyes. And you did it very convincingly.
That's why I'm okay with his 3-fight winning streak that he's coming off of, which is over 2 former middleweights.
Another thing I don't mind is, it's only
Luke Rockhold was supposed to get the title shot.
Yes, it's only a 3-fight winning streak, but it's actually 7-1 in his last 8. And the guy he lost to already had his title shot, so it's not like he's behind him anymore. You know what I mean? That guy already got it out of the way.
That's a great point.
So if you look at it that way, it's like, he's beaten everyone except for a guy who's already gotten a shot.
Clark Cannonier, Manuel Krylov lost to Santos, then Rockhold, Jacare.
What a turnaround after getting held down by Patrick Cummins. Holy fuck.
Lost a majority decision that night. Lost to Alexander Gustafsson.
He probably should have got a draw because he fucked up Cummins hard in that first round, and then Cummins controlled him for the last 2, but 2 judges didn't give him a 10-8.
Fuck your memory, Tony.
I don't know
Fuck
why
it.
I remember this shit.
Fuck it all. So impressive streak, like you said, 7-1 over his last 8.
Very impressive.
I think he's deserving of it.
That Santos but I do want to see was bad though. He just charged right into a fucking punch. It was weird.
Yeah, he did gas in that one too, if I'm not mistaken. Like he started to show a little bit.
No, to me it looked like he was fighting like smart, chilled, conservative because he didn't want to get bombed on by Santos. And then it's like that round he kind of just he just like charged him in this rush, and Santos just kind of countered him and dropped
My
him.
memory is definitely not serving me there. So still, at least for us, recency bias doesn't seem to be kicking in. Seems like we both still want to see the Reyes rematch, right?
But yo, you see his legs, they're bruised up. These boys can't fight before August, I don't think, man. They shouldn't do that.
I think since they have July already set up, with it's probably going to be Masvidal Kamaru.
Yeah,
they could probably wait till August, but they also do like a late July pay-per-view every now and then too, right? They usually have 2 in July,
or it's like beginning of August.
Yeah,
late July. I would say end of August is like probably a good time for
end of August.
That end of August card.
I think Jones wants to fight at least 3 times this year. I think end of August would be a little bit close. He
wants to do 3 times again.
That's what he said. He could do it, man. February, late July, early August, and then end of year.
I just think that was a tough fight. Take some time off, fight Reyes again. And if he does fight Reyes again, he's not going to get another fight in by the end of the year. That's going to be a tough fight.
It could be a tough fight.
It's going to be a tough fight for both guys.
But you know what they should do now?
And in fact, they might do the trilogy if Reyes actually wins that one.
Touche. That's a good point.
Right?
You know what they should do with Blachowicz now is actually pay him to stay ready in case anybody drops out.
I don't mind
if
that.
John drops out, make it an interim title fight. If what's his face drops out, Dominic Reyes, you plug in Jan Blachowicz.
No, here's what I would do with Jan. I would do Reyes rematch, and I would do Santos Blachowicz too.
That's the other name that I was seeing thrown out there a lot.
Jan seems to be the fucking rematch king.
Yeah, 3-0.
And he loves avenging losses in rematches. Yeah. So, hey, dude, you want to really stake your claim to a title shot? Go avenge your last loss in your last 9 fights while these 2 fight it out. And not to mention, you're still fighting up in the rankings. You're still going up. So to me, that makes all the sense in the world. I would have said maybe pair him up with Smith, but Smith's already got the Teixeira fight. Then he'll fight somebody else after. So I would like to believe Thiago Santos is probably ready to return soon. It's been pretty much a year now.
It's been a while, right?
It's been a year.
By mid-year, he should be good to go.
I think by July, right? Yeah, so that's a
July
good
when he
turnaround
fought
time.
him.
Hey, get your win back, man.
That was those are the 4 names I was seeing dangled out there, like either a Reyes Santos and then Jan Jones, or any mix of those guys.
I like both rematches, but I understand if people are like, "Oh, we want fresh matchups," so maybe you match them up in a different way. I get that.
If they go out there and announce Jan Blachowicz against Jon Jones, I'm not going to be the most angry. You know what I mean? I won't be like, all right, this is bullshit. Like Dominic deserves it.
And then I wouldn't mind Dominic goes out there, gets another solid win. Jones goes out, beats the end. Hey, we got a bigger rematch now.
Exactly. I think they could definitely bolster up their resumes a little bit more. Santos seems to be that guy, though. Let's not count Santos out either. What if he comes out there and beats one of these guys as well, and then we get Jones Santos too at the end of the year?
I mean, if they do Jan Santos too, he's probably going to be the favorite.
Yeah, well, actually, Santos going into that.
I don't know. Maybe he shouldn't because it's a rematch and he's coming off an injury.
Taking in
rematch against Jan and coming off a
let's throw it out there for the viewers though. But Jan has avenged his rematches to Anderson, Manua, and Sokoju way back in KSW days. So he is the rematch master, just as John is the rematch master.
And
apparently.
Definitively,
yeah,
like came back in the rematch and easily won those fights. It was
nothing. In my opinion, nothing would be better if Jones goes out there and fights Reyes again, finishes him, goes 3-0 in rematches again, and they build a little bit of a storyline behind. Well, I guess the rematch kings going up against each other, but then again, it's not really like they're rematching each other.
Twice.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm totally cool with that.
That's what the story should be. He should lose to Jones and then build another 3-fight win streak. It's like, ooh, Yan in a rematch. He's gonna finish Jones.
The funny thing is, when you're thinking about contenders coming up in the light heavyweight division, it's usually guys that are putting together impressive streaks that are going to be like, all right, this is going to be the guy for Jon Jones to beat. But if you really think about it, it's been John's last 3 fights that have kind of diminished his value, that has brought him to the level of the rest of the guys. You can say I still think he's the GOAT, don't get me wrong. But the fact that he's going to close decisions with some of these guys, the Santos fight, I don't remember how it should have been scored or anything like that. But even the Reyes fight, you're kind of bringing his stock down a little bit. You can say what you want about Dominic Reyes' stock going up, and he should be up there with Jon Jones and Dominic Reyes right at the top. Okay. But Jan Blachowicz is kind of up there now too. I feel like John's stock is slowly dropping a little bit with these closer fights, which is why everybody's a little bit more anticipating of a Jan fight.
But I don't think it's perception.
That's what I think it is.
It's true. I think he was like the Santos fight. I think he literally thought, oh, I'm in control this whole round, this whole
perception
fight.
Is the perfect word though, because I think the perception of
it could have taken him down and smashed him.
Dude, Stipe Miocic is now the favorite in a predicted Jon Jones and Stipe fight.
Well, honestly, I don't mind that because Stipe's boxing is ridiculous, and if Jon Jones gets teed up like that, he can go out.
Before this fight, though, Would you have thought he would be the right?
Probably not. But then look at the success Reyes had in the boxing, and he's a similar size. Stipe's got that size. He's heavyweight. His boxing is ridiculous.
It's still, I believe perception is the right word for this though, because I do think John's stock has dropped for most people. Because even the rematch against Reyes now is going to be a lot closer, which makes sense due to the performance that they have. We should
touch on this a bit. Like going back, so much controversy with the decision last week. I rewatched it too. I still think it's pretty, like, if you do round by round scoring, I think it's pretty clear that it should be 3-2 Reyes.
Yeah, that's what we agreed on for the side splits and still to do.
But I do. At first, I was thinking like Pride rule style. You know, John probably would have got the nod because like the end of the fight split it a little more, and if it kept continuing, it seemed like John might have got the win. I don't know, man. I went back and rewatched 4. It's not a blowout by John. Like, he won the round, but it's like even if you judge it as a whole, there's an argument to be made for Reyes who's still kind of winning that fight. Whereas at first I thought, okay, maybe if you go like Pride rules, John Jones. But I will say, when I first watched it, I thought it was a robbery. I don't really feel that it's like a robbery. I think it was close enough. You can even call it a draw.
One thing that we kind of overlooked is something that we try to implement in our deciding splits episodes, which is the CSS.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we could actually add from the Jones fight? Because like
they're all 10-9 rounds.
But like 1 and 5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, in terms of how equal they are.
Relative to 2, 3, and 4.
So yeah, I guess you're right, because then in that sense you can, right? You could be like, hey man, I scored 10-9. Well, actually, round 1 was a good round though for Reyes. So 1 and 5 might not. They actually are kind of equal.
So could they be 10-8s compared to the
other ones?
Compared to the other ones,
yeah. I don't know. Like if you just want to differentiate, the problem is everything's so complicated. We have to use numbers and math and round by round. What the fuck? How is it not hard for someone to just watch a fight and say who won it?
Yeah.
It's not. Why are we? Why is it so complicated?
It's just it's the rules and scoring criteria that we put out there.
Pride was just like, hey, watch the fight. All right, who won the fight? Like they just gave you a name. They didn't fucking tally up scores.
Risen is kind of like that now too, though.
That's how it should be. That's how you judge a fight. You judge it as a whole. I don't understand this 5 mini fights or 3 mini fights contained within one fight. What the fuck are we doing here? It's one continuous fight. The damage carries over, right? So why are we resetting that it's a new fight contained with what the fuck?
For me, like a Risen fight that I watched recently that went to a decision for tape study purposes was Jinyu Fry against Ayaka Hamasaki.
And they just picked the names.
It was the first 2 rounds, Jinyu Fry completely outstriking this girl. 3rd round, Hamasaki takes her down, controls her all 4.5, 5 minutes of that round once she got her down. And then they gave the fight to Hamasaki just because she won the 3rd round. Pretty much just by top position. But Fry was the one outstriking her and landing really good shots in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, see, okay, well, that's
a little bit sketchy.
No, that's the whole thing, right? If the damage is enough in the beginning, I know the end should probably be weighed a little bit more because of the fact that if the fight continues from that point on, it's like that fighter's got dominant position.
Yeah.
But there's got to be some sort of offset where it's like, okay, if I'm outstriking and landing damage for 2 whole rounds, then I just get held down for the last round.
Yeah.
I still won 2/3 of the fight. Yes, I won the beginning part, but I would think 2/3 of the beginning still outweighs 1/3 of the end, even if you judge it as a whole. I agree. So yeah, that's not
maybe not today, but on another weekend, I do want to show you that Fry and Hamasaki fight just to get your perception on it, because that's technically Pride rules, right?
Yeah, it is Pride.
That's
rules.
Pride judging,
it's Pride rules,
right?
Yeah. But yeah, like at first, I just felt like Jones might have an unjustified win on his record, but now I'm kind of in the boat of like, you could say draw or maybe
3-2. I'm okay with 3-2 Jones.
I still struggle with saying John Jones won that fight.
Yeah,
like you watch that fight, you're like, John Jones didn't win this fight. I'd probably lean draw, or honestly 10-9 must though. 3-2 Reyes. I thought it was pretty clear.
I think we said this on Deciding Splits last time, is that 4-1 with Jones is not that bad
because of the round 2 and 3. However, when I rewatch those rounds, it's like I'm watching those trying to give it to John and trying to justify it, but I'm like, man, if I'm just going unbiased, I think it's pretty clear Dominic Reyes outlanded him. He got him in those rounds.
I think the discussion of this controversial decision alone is enough to give us a rematch over whatever we saw with the ad last night.
I like the
right?
rematch. 100%.
I think people are still talking it just as me and you are. I'm sure there are, even in some of the group chats that I'm in, they're still talking about the decision.
This feels like the first one where John legit could have lost. Like even his other ones, it's more like people just wanting to see John lose. Like
Gustafsson.
Like people trying to argue to me that Gus won the first fight. what the fuck are you talking about? The guy was like a walking zombie by the end and falling over. How do you say he won the fight?
Yeah.
John clearly won rounds 4 and 5 and 2 as well.
Yeah.
I thought. And then let's say you think 2 was close. Okay, Gus barely won his rounds 1 and 3. I don't get that whole thing about Gus won the first 3 rounds and
this is the closest he's come to adversity.
Where it's like, this was the first time that you could say legitly John Jones maybe should have lost that fight, really. Yeah.
I'm much more intrigued with the rematch for Reyes as well. Quickly, something that we didn't really touch on deciding splits or even last week was the open scoring.
They're doing it in Invicta.
They're doing it in Invicta, which is fine. I'm completely okay with them testing it out in these lower promotions. And then again, it's just Kansas. Kansas State is the only one that's actually trying it out. And Invicta runs out of Kansas anyway, right? I'm intrigued by this just because there's so many different things that go into it. Like,
I just want to see how it affects it.
First of all, how are they going to announce it? You have 1 minute between rounds.
Maybe like
so each judge is going to just put up red corner.
No,
I scored this for red.
I think what they do is like right before the round starts, when the fighters are stood up and the refs like, fighter ready, go. Right at that point, right before they do that, it should be like literally on a fucking screen up top.
So like, say between rounds 1 and round 2, right before they're about to start round 2, they're going to show them what the score is.
Yeah, right on the screen.
I don't agree with that.
It's like checking the scoreboard at a hockey game.
I don't agree with that.
Like literally right before you go, or
they should do it as soon as the round ends, so that the coaches, can advise them.
I was literally thinking of that, but right before you said that.
Right?
But I don't know if that's enough time.
That's another thing that brings in. Ray Longo said the same thing on fucking Anakin Florian, where he's like, "What if the judge still gets the score wrong, and I'm pissed off, and I'm trying to coach my fighter? Like, there's not enough time. You need to give them at least a minute.
Wrinkle.
Give them a minute and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, give them slightly more time to come to terms with the fact that you may have just got screwed out of that past round, and let me give my fighter a proper game plan to go with now, right?
Well, imagine that if they had open scoring in GSP Johnny. Because that came down to round 1, and almost everyone thought Johnny had that in the bag.
Yep.
And then GSP got it on 2 judges' scorecards. So imagine getting out of that round.
Yeah.
Johnny looks up, he goes, "What the fuck? I thought I won that round. I lost."
Exactly.
All right, I better turn it up and not give away round 5.
That's
you know what I mean?
It goes both ways though, because I've seen people be like, okay, we're going to see a lot more cruising in round 3 if there's open scoring.
Yeah.
Not really though, because the other fighter needs to know they have to go out there and win.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you're going against a guy that is going to be working even harder to get off of bottom position, knowing for sure he lost those last 2 rounds. And we still see it. There are still fights where we go out there and we're like, there's no way this fighter doesn't know he's down 2 rounds.
Yeah.
But now if you legitimately go out there and know, okay,
that the judges
I'm down 2018 right now, whatever the score would be.
See, once again, this goes back to my point of everything's too fucking complicated. Points. Now you have scores. Let's put up the scores, open scoring, close. Just fucking get a guy to watch a fight and say who won the damn fight based off damage. It's not that complicated. It really
I get that. Last thing I do want to touch on about open scoring though is judges kind of outing themselves now.
Yeah, good.
Are they going to have to be cage side? Like, will they be cage side now? Will they still be cage side where they'll be like, okay, I'm the one that scored it this way, and then people are just going to be looking over that motherfucker like, what the fuck were you watching?
That's what they need is accountability. But it's not like their employers are going to do anything. They don't give a fuck.
And the commissions don't really do anything about that.
They're blatantly corrupt. So.
Mark Goddard was on Ariel Helwani's podcast this past week, and he's talking about, like, he said that he didn't watch the Jones and Reyes fight. Like, he couldn't really talk about how he scored it or anything like that. He just wanted to talk about judging as a whole. Andy Foster was also on his podcast too, the head of the California Athletic State Commission. Him as well. He goes, I watched the fight. I can't really score it just based on my position, but I could see arguments for both sides. But they're both kind of proponents of, like, they're open to seeing the open scoring. They want to see the open scoring as well. But they're really about, like, the accountability of all the judges. So in my head, I'm like, why aren't they saying that, their colleagues should be going on record and saying why they thought these people won these fights? I think Joe Solis got a lot of shit that night, like right off the bat, just because he had a couple egregious scores. But as the days went by, people were like, all right, I could see round 2 for Jones. I could see round 3 for Jones.
I've heard so many people say, like, oh, like, I definitely gave Dom 1 and 3, but I could see an argument for 2. Then so many other people, I definitely gave Dom 1 and 2, but I could see an argument for 3. So it's like, if I'm hearing a bunch of that, why is it not feasible that one guy gave both those 2 close rounds?
Exactly. Because if you went into round 3 thinking the way that he did in round 2, obviously he's going to give him round 3 as well.
Because round 2 and 3 are kind of similar.
Kind of the same.
And it's funny, even what John said. John said he thought he won 3, 4, and 5. But then after I heard an argument more for round 2, it's like nobody even fucking knows between 2 and 3
thing that
which
made
one
it
they
so
even give to Jones.
the thing that made it so fishy was the fact that Jones kept saying, "My wrestling won that fight." Shut up! Shut up!
It's such a dumb argument. You're outing yourself for a dumb argument because
Yeah.
the wrestling only happened in the rounds that you already won without the wrestling. So what the fuck are you talking? Even the Thrill and Agony sneak peek video.
Oh yeah.
Did you tell me you watched that?
Yeah,
shit?
yeah. I saw
Dude,
that. The sneak peek.
Dude, Dominic Reyes' corner celebrating.
Yeah.
Jones's family all.
I got that right. 3-2 Jones.
And then his
3-2.
grandma who's like 90 and
Hallelujah.
not even aware. Like, oh, he definitely won that. It's like, okay, yeah, you don't know anything, so who cares? But
2 of 9 on takedowns for John Jones.
Yeah.
And no, I wish they actually kept top control.
even
on
his
here, but
brother
they
said
don't.
the same thing, you know.
Yeah, his wrestling.
It was the wrestling.
Yeah.
What the fuck
Shut
are
up,
you
you play
talking
football.
about?
You
You
play
don't know
football.
what you're saying.
You play football. Shut up.
Yeah, you don't know what you're saying. Even John walking to the back, that look on his face.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like mulling it over in his head, like, shit, did I win that? Did I win that? You could tell, man.
Yeah.
You could tell. He was very doubtful.
All right, I think that's enough on the main event at least. Like we still sit. Well, we're not letting recency bias really deter us. We're still sitting on Jan Blachowicz, waiting it out. Maybe fighting Thiago Santos again next, but we do definitely want Reyes to get the rematch against John Jones. Straightforward.
Yeah, 100%. Let's go to
All right, let's go to the co-main, the DQ.
I'll reveal this. I had
Diego
a small
Sanchez.
parlay on Montana and Michelle.
Oh
And
shit!
imagine me watching that fight going, oh, Diego's getting his, and then the knee, and then the DQ. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like, this Michelle guy is a fucking retard.
Yeah.
He needs to seriously get his brain together.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing
Very
with
blatant.
that knee?
Very
That
blatant.
was so stupid.
Yeah.
It was unnecessary. You're already beating the shit out of this guy. Why even take such a
Yeah.
stupid risk?
But
Dumb.
before we actually touch
Dumb.
on the knee
Cut
itself, I want to talk about how good he actually looked, though.
He looked all right to me.
But I thought like after the 1.5 round mark, he was going to start to slow down a little bit, but he did not. Considering
will
he was
say-
at altitude, he did have a little bit more of a measured approach. Right,
And that's what I mean.
the main thing.
That's the only thing that seemed like, okay, slightly impressive was that he didn't fly out and do crazy shit.
Yeah.
And when he did the crazy shit, it was still a little more calculated. Like he tried to time it a little better,
Yes.
not just going crazy. Except for that one, I hate when he does that. When the guy's on the ground and he just does the backflip onto
yeah.
them. That does
That's too
absolutely
sketchy.
fucking nothing.
Too
It does
sketchy.
nothing.
It drains your energy bar way too much, and you could possibly
nothing.
land on his face, and it's an illegal shot right
Does
there.
nothing.
Right?
I thought he looked okay. It's just the story of this fight more was like
the DQ.
Diego
Yeah.
is fucking. It's just embarrassing to watch at this point. It's just.
You got to give a little bit of credit to his chin. Besides that, I'm saying he should not be fighting. But I honestly thought the first
He
decent
came out
couple
and did
shots,
some front flip. What the fuck are you even
yeah.
trying? You don't know what you're doing. It's like you're trying to psych about. Then he's doing this hand thing.
Yeah.
His wrestling looked bad.
Did you
too.
see his
He's
henna
so
tattoo?
Much smaller. Yeah, I
He had a
don't.
henna tattoo on his fucking stomach.
He's got that one dude in his corner still
Yeah.
not giving him any fucking
Nope.
real advice. Like, what are we doing here? That was just sad to watch. It was honestly sad. No one's talking about Michelle looking impressive. Now,
No.
obviously,
It's all about Diego.
It's all about Diego looking terrible
Yeah.
and Michelle being a fucking idiot.
Yeah. The funny thing is here that it did not really go the way that we thought it would have. In terms of Michelle probably was going to knock him out in the first round. I thought that was the way to go. I thought if it got past 1.5, Diego Sanchez was going to be able to get
Grind
takedowns.
him. Takedowns.
Couldn't do that either.
Michelle looked massive compared to Diego. though.
huge.
He was huge.
Huge.
Diego should never be a welterweight clear, but this fight really sent it home. I don't.
Now-
it was just bad.
Put yourself in Diego Sanchez's shoes. Do you take the DQ?
Okay, you know what? At first, I was like, "Oh, this guy's blatantly like asking the doctor, like, oh, what happens if I can't continue? Is it going to be a DQ?"
Yeah.
And the doc's, and then you hear the ref too, like, "Hey, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Just let me know if you can continue or not."
I want to
Like,
see if
he's trying
there's
to play
a-
the game, and
Yeah.
Diego's like, he's kind of giving up. Like he knew he was getting his ass whooped. He's trying to get out of there, sneak out of there with a win. So at first, I was kind of down on him.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's that whole point of double your money.
Oh, of
With
course.
the win.
And you know what he's getting paid?
That's what I mean.
103 and 103 in his last
There
fight.
you go. So you know what? If I know I'm about to lose this fight, I'm getting my ass whooped, and this idiot threw an illegal knee, and it's his fucking fault. I didn't do that. I didn't ask him to do it. Now I got a cut that's going to hinder my ability to fight for the next 2 minutes, and I'm going to lose anyway and get half my pay. Fuck this. I'm taking the easy out and getting my extra 100K. So no, I got no problem with Diego taking that DQ anymore. At first, I thought it was a little bit of a bitch. Maybe I was a little biased because I had the money on Michelle, and I'm like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. But no, Diego did nothing wrong. He did what he should have there. Michelle fucked up. It was all his fault. That's all there is to it.
I wish that there was some video on it, but a lot of people are saying that Herzog was kind of talking him to a decision, saying it's going to be a DQ if you aren't able to continue. No, so he kind of goaded him. That's what I'm.
Diego just knew he pieced
one of these
together.
tweets just caught up on Sanchez Pereira. Never heard a fighter quiz the referee on what outcome would be given. Not what you expect from Diego Sanchez either. That said, I really like Herzog's style of controlling the situation. Sanchez, I can't see. This one is over. Yeah,
he never said DQ. He said he's like, don't worry about like what I'm going to rule it.
Yeah.
Can you continue or not?
Yeah.
And Diego, I think, pieced it together. Like, if I can't continue from an illegal shot, that's a DQ. And it's a blatant, so that's, the ref didn't do anything wrong.
He busted so many parlays probably too with that.
The only one who did anything wrong is Michelle Pereira here. Everyone, director hate and anger towards him for being an idiot there.
Absolutely. You know the only person to blame is Pereira.
And I even saw a tweet, someone else tweet out, like, why is it that so many fighters don't know the rules and stuff? And Nico Price, who's not even known as the most brightest fighter ever, right? He's just, he's a savage. He's a tough guy, right? He's a savage. He said, I don't really get it because they brief you on the rules in the back. Mm-hmm. So if he's a savage like that is fucking saying, I don't understand. What is the excuse here?
I'm gonna see if I can pull up the knee one more time just to get our own.
But now, I don't know if do you have anything else to say about this? I want to transition this into the other DQ. This guy's even fuck that guy even more than Pereira.
Oh, that one was way more blatant.
Horrible.
That was way more blatant.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Knock the guy out.
Here's the illegal knee once again. Clearly down. Clear knee.
See, this is a little more defensible than the other one because he hit him and then he dropped and it felt like he was just in that momentum of throwing knees. Fine. The other guy, the guy is flat on his side.
Oh, yeah. There's
no way.
You
just need him in the face.
Yeah.
And then he didn't even act like he gave a fuck or realized what had happened. It's like, what are you doing? You fuck. That
you gotta see Sanchez's knee on the ground at the angle that Pereira's head is.
I'm not trying to defend it at all. I'm just saying it's not as bad as the other one.
No, I agree.
That one is still stupid.
That one was bad.
That guy should be cut. Whoever the fuck
Vargas, Rodrigo Vargas.
Hey, Bob, whatever his name is. What is the guy's name?
Which one?
Brock? Is it Brock?
Brock Weaver.
Bob?
Bob Weaver.
Brock Weaver. Yeah. That guy just suffered incredible head trauma and probably a concussion.
Oh, for sure.
Because he's in a position where he assumes he's not going to get hit. And his whole face
pretty much
is right
on
out
his
there.
butt. He's like almost on his butt.
Blatantly right to the face and knocked.
That was bad.
Then he fucking goes to hit him again.
Yeah.
If the guy just if the guy went out, you hit him in the face, clearly with an illegal shot. Now you're trying to follow up with shots?
The guy showed no remorse either. The guy was like...
The guy's a fucking idiot. He should be cut immediately.
That was horrible.
And he should be fined. Paid $0 for that bullshit.
Yeah. He's probably going to get cut anyway.
You know the fucking rules. That was... Ugh.
Poor guy. And he was winning that round. I don't know if you're watching that fight.
Yeah, he had him controlled on the ground. The guy couldn't even get back up. All you have to do is keep doing that.
He was like doing the Khabib thing where he had his like legs laced and had his legs together. I was just beating him up.
So stupid. I can't stand fighters like that. Like get them out of the fucking
That was horrible.
UFC. Like,
absolutely horrible.
Fined everything. You should just be punished hard for that shit. That guy just took head trauma for no fucking reason.
I know. He went out too.
Like, bad. He went out, man.
That was not good. And good on the referee for like calling it right away too. Like, don't even try to give this guy...
Immediately, he called the fight off. He's like, dude, there's no time to recover after that. The guy went out.
And I don't think that Weaver is the type of fighter that would have gone the Diego Sanchez route. Weaver is the fighter that would have been like, yo, I'm good.
Plus, this was like a hometown fight.
Was it?
Yeah, that's why
think so.
You've never heard of these two when they're on the fucking main card. When it came out, it was like...
Weaver's from like Alabama. Weaver has like this weird like Alabama native thing about him.
Okay, but it felt like some sort of hometown. Maybe
I don't know about
trained
that.
there.
I think it was more so just Weaver's like you saw him at the weigh-ins. He has like the whole headdress on his face is painted. Like he's just that charismatic character. And then Vargas is just a one-punch knockout.
I thought he was so amped because it was like his hometown or he trained there.
I'm certain that it's not. He trains with like Jason Knight and shit. Like he was in Jason Knight's corner when Jason Knight went to go bare knuckle box.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah,
never mind.
he was on the Contender Series as well. Won a really close decision there. But whatever. Let's move on from that. Montana De La Rosa, Romero Barella. Kind of what I thought was going to happen with De La Rosa. The stronger, bigger wrestler with better overall grappling in terms of jiu-jitsu and wrestling put together. Did you know that him and Mark, or her and Mark, wifey hubby, had a kid when she was 15?
Oh, Jesus. They've been together for a while.
Yeah, she's 23 now or something. 24.
Holy fuck.
9-year-old. When you're 24.
Yeah, that's...
The fuck?
It's ridiculous.
She's a little cutie anyway. I'll give her that. Ray Borg against Sergio Bontorin. Unfortunate for both guys. You know, Bontorin just being the complete dummy and fasting since Monday to try to make weight. Good for him in terms of discipline. Great discipline there. However, not what you want to do when you're going into a fight against a guy as a cardio machine like Ray Borg. You know you're going to need all 15 minutes of your energy.
Not what you want to do, period.
And then
going into a fight with
you got to be smarter.
You know
than
what
that.
I mean?
What you got to be smarter than that.
About here,
and
dude?
you know going into this that Ray Borg's probably not going to try to cut that.
He said he's a bantamweight, but he got the opportunity at flyweight, and it's an easier path to the title. So I'll just keep doing this. Like, what the fuck are you talking? You think you're going to take the belt at flyweight looking like that? Are you out of your mind?
Well, yeah, I think he is an actual flyweight though, because he beat that Paiva guy that beat Mark De La Rosa earlier. They fought in the first fight.
He said in an interview,
he's a
like,
bantamweight.
I should be a bantamweight, but
That's weird.
I got in at flyweight, so I'm going to stay here because it's an easier, quicker path to the title fight. Fuck you. Title fights after that? Go. Dude, get your cardio together and go up to bantamweight.
What is that? One judge gave it a 30-25.
Yeah, like I said, there was a lot of 10-8s.
There's a lot of 10-8s going out for sure.
I didn't really see any 10-8 rounds. It was weird.
Yeah. Did you see Borg's apology?
Yeah, Borg's
Did you read it?
It's like, it's gotten to that point where it's like you have so much sympathy for Borg because of all the shit that he's been through, but at the same time, it's like, for fuck's sakes, dude.
Fourth
you
weightless.
gotta make the fucking weight. 3 pounds too.
Fourth
Come
weight.
on, man.
Technically 2.
Just stay a bantamweight or do this right.
Yeah.
What is happening here?
Bantamweight should be the way to go.
That. Yeah.
I don't know why he doesn't do bantamweight. Has he lost at bantamweight?
He's too small for bantamweight. The guy's just not cutting weight correctly.
Oh, he missed weight for 135 as well.
He should have beat Casey Kenny. That was
that was a close fight.
That was a bad decision.
And then Demetrius Johnson at flyweight. Justin Scoggins, he lost at flyweight as well. But yeah, 135. You know, stop draining yourself. Don't pull a Manny Bermudez and go up and miss weight again.
I think he should be a flyweight. He just needs to cut the weight properly. I don't know what's going on there. You got to figure it out, and you got to stop fucking around and really take it very serious now. Like He
said, like in that apology too. He goes, "I did everything that I could. Like the weight just would not come off in the last."
Yeah, I heard that too. Like he even worked with the PI and all that. So maybe you do just have to go to bantamweight. I don't know.
He's super talented too, which is the sad part. Yeah. Like nobody scrambles like this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like I think he has the best scrambling.
He's got to get his striking defense is not up to
Somebody throw out there him against Dawalishvili at 135 would be fun as fuck to watch. Trying to see both those guys trying to implement the grappling. Are you kidding me? Scrambles for days plus cardio for days.
Pull up the card again. Yesterday's card.
Yeah, I don't know why I closed that. There we go.
Okay, yeah.
Venata versus Medeiros. I didn't watch that the closest, but it seemed like Venata was going to come out kind of like that. I actually had the under 2.5 in that fight. I thought they were going to go to war a little bit more.
Medeiros just looked bad. He was just getting hit, and
he's not the best fighter, man. Like he's barely average. Like he's just enough to cut in the UFC. That's it.
Yeah, he's tough.
He will beat like a guy like a Vargas. That was a
bad look though, because Venata's not the greatest either. And you got stifled by Venata. Like fuck. I don't know. It wasn't that great.
Not much to say about that one. Daniel Rodriguez and Tim Means.
Tim Means just can't get up there,
I was considering fucking Rodriguez too. At plus 300 was ridiculous in my opinion, considering how hard he punches. And Tim Means, not saying his chin is completely shot, but going into this, we've seen him hit and like not react the best.
He's only getting older.
He got put out twice in this fight.
And he's only getting older. Yeah.
You saw him stumbling.
Round,
that was bad.
Fucked up. Yeah.
I wouldn't have been mad if the referee stopped it at that point either.
If I'm his corner and I see you walking back there, I'm like, that's concussion number 1.
That was fucked the way he was just looking at the ground. Like it seemed like he was not even there.
Completely out.
Zombie. That was zombie-esque right there.
The ref needs to do, like, if I see a guy stumble back like that, I'm like, he just got knocked out. You can't let him get knocked out again. What the fuck? Fight's over.
Yeah, for sure. There's getting hurt at the end of the round, and then there's getting Tim Meansed at the end of the round, and those are two completely different things. I don't like
how when the round ends, like they give you a couple of seconds. Like no. If you're not ready to immediately pop back and go into your fucking corner, the fight is done. It's over. You're out.
I agree.
That's it.
John Dodson going out there and knocking out Nathaniel Wood. A lot of people are on Wood. A heavy prospect, but the issue with him is he gets hit a lot.
Yeah, he was
and that's one thing I saw. The only thing that kept me away from betting John Dodson here is his lack of activity and output.
Older. Yeah.
But just his output too. You can't really say he's dwindled completely just because look at his resume. His last 2 fights alone are losses to Jimmy Rivera and Peter Yan.
The losses are like big names. Like
right?
only top tier guys beat him. And he's one of those guys though, you don't really want to fight him because even if you win, you're not going to look good. And he's so hard to beat because he's so fast and defensive, boring fight.
He's so quick at closing the distance and he holds a lot of power. So it brings trouble for guys like Nathaniel Wood, who did look good. You know, he didn't look too bad.
Yeah,
I saw actually a lot of 1-1 scorecards going into that third round.
Yeah, it was a close fight. It was a good fight. And then, he just
Wood gets put out. Poor guy. Like that's kind of not the guy that you want to get put out by. But then again, John Dodson is known to be like one of the few knockout artists at bantamweight and flyweight. You know what I mean? You know what his odds were for Dodson by knockout? Opened at plus 1,200.
Now there you go.
Closed at plus 700.
Well, I told you yesterday. Imagine going if there's a card that has 9 fights. We're 9 fights into a card and 6 of them are decision, and John Dodson is not one of the decisions. What the fuck? How did that happen?
If I'm not mistaken, though, I think his last knockout finish was Daryl Montague.
Yeah,
right.
It was a while ago, man. Because everyone knew to expect his left hand. People just started making sure not to.
Oh, he TKO'd Gambirian in 2016. TKO doctor stoppage John Moraga. Do you remember that? Do you remember the doctor stoppage against Moraga?
Yes,
what that was?
Broke his nose or something.
Oh, okay. And then Montague before that, 166. I remember watching that at Boston Pizza.
Yeah, Montague was dancing.
Yeah. Because that was like right at the beginning, right? How quick was that? Yeah. That was...
First round. He dropped him like twice.
4 minutes and 13.
He rocked him like once or twice and then finally put him out.
It
was one of those where when he finally dropped him the last time, Rogan's like, oh, he's done. He's over. Done, please. Like begging for the ref to stop. It was one of those.
Holtzman and Miller, I had the under 2.5 here too. I thought either Miller was going to get the sub quick or Holtzman was going to be able to land clear enough to put him out.
It's the typical durability. It was a typical fight. You thought you would see Holtzman's not going to be a major player in this division. I think that's pretty clear. Miller's on the end at the end of his career.
Yeah.
Fun fight, whatever. Not the greatest.
The reason I went with the under as well, or even the fight doesn't go to decision, is you remember the Miller and Guida fight?
Yeah.
Guida rocked him before.
Yeah, quick.
And I'm like, yo, Holtzman like has power.
He was landing, but
Miller was still like good enough to stick it around.
Yep.
Daquan Townsend, good on you for taking 2 fights in like 3 weeks, but bye. Your UFC career is done.
Caliber.
Like he shows zero ability to try and get the fight off.
I actually think they might give him another one because he did them a favor in this one.
I don't see that. Like UFC's relentless. They don't give a fuck.
I guess.
He's 0-3 now in the UFC.
Yeah.
He's just that journeyman that just squeaked into the UFC for some goddamn reason. And now, coming off a riding of Devin Clark, who's not the greatest light heavyweight out there either. Yeah. Rob Davalishvili, this is going to be a money train for me.
Let's skip that.
Really?
I want to talk more about it. Go to the other ones first.
What? Okay. Kiasan and Shanna Young.
Shasan, whatever you want to call it.
Good on Shanna Young for taking the fight as late as she did, 4 days notice. I was actually hoping to take Nico Montano in that spot as an underdog. I thought she had a decent chance against Kiasan. Kiasan's just getting so much love. Like, way too much love. I get it for this fight just due to the fact that
and based on how this fight went, it seems like Montana probably would have beat Chasson, no? Like, she didn't look that impressive over a short notice.
Probably, I actually agree with that.
Right. Montana's tough.
Shanna Young's a 125er coming up to 135 on short notice as well, too.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay.
So that's another thing to take into consideration.
Montana, like, people forget, like, she's pretty good.
She's a great grappler.
Modafferi's been looking good. She beat her. Like, it's not the best win ever, but, like, she's better than I'd say.
Record's a little salty. I think it's like 4-2 or 4-3, which is weird. She lost her last fight to Juliana Pena, but I think she had a good chance of out-grappling Kiasa here.
Fighter though, I would like to believe
she could have done. I thought she was decent dog value here. And then Harlan Paiva against Mark De La Rosa. I love Paiva. 1-2 in the UFC now. His last fight was actually against Rogerio Bontorin, and Paiva landed a huge shot on Bontorin, cut him. Referee had to come in and look at it. It was like, all right, this is good. Bontorin comes out a minute later, hits fucking Paiva with the huge shot, cuts him open. Referee stops it because there's like a huge gash over his out. They should have just rematched those guys. Yeah. That was a great fight. Paiva, I don't know, did you watch that fight like close enough to understand Paiva or know what he's about? Super long flyweight. Tall as fuck. Let me get his height, but they don't have.
I saw the knockout, yeah.
But very good striking, fast hands, decent jiu-jitsu, very long for the flyweight division too. 16-1 going into his last fight.
Okay.
Very, very good winning streak as well. And then obviously got lost to banter in there. But I think he's a guy to look out for the flyweight division too. And especially to get a finish in the flyweight division, you're definitely going to have a little bit of a spotlight on you too, right? So I could see them going out there.
One punch knockout too. Like he fucking deaded
laid him out. That was a beautiful finish. A lot of people thought that was going to go into Montana's head going into her fight.
I got worried about it, yeah.
Like, nah, man. Like, in her mind, she probably knows she's the breadwinner in the family. Let's be honest.
Okay, to be fair,
she has a higher ceiling.
To be fair, the skill level in women's divisions is lower than the men's division. So, like, her husband could relatively be a better fighter than her, but he's just facing better competition.
Touche.
So, gotta give it to her in that sense.
Yeah,
but
I'd say she has top 5 grappling in that flyweight division.
Okay, yeah.
She's not going to beat Shevchenko, but she will hover around the 5-3. That Andrea Lee loss still kind of stings a bit because I had
Shevchenko is the real life female of James Bond. It's
yeah, exactly.
She dances.
I agree.
And fights hand to hand. She can kill you, and she uses guns.
I know.
Like, what is this? This is not real life.
I love that she's playing to it as well.
Yeah, and she's hot, and she's like pretty good looking too. It's like, holy fuck, you're the total package here. This is incredible.
All right, Merab against Casey Kenny.
So
I love me some Merab. I love Merab.
I know you love Merab. I will say he didn't look good in this fight.
He did enough to win, and that was enough for me.
Against a guy named Casey Kenny, who's not the
Casey Kenny is a good scrambler, good jiu-jitsu. He's not that bad.
Here's the thing about Merab. Cardio is obviously off the charts. Good grappling. Not the best at keeping guys down. He can take you down, but he doesn't know how to hold you down.
Cain Velasquez style.
But
get up, take it down. Get up, take it down. Get up, take it down.
Yeah, but it's not Cain Velasquez style in terms of the damage. He's not inflicted that much damage while he's doing it. But cardio, great grappling, pretty good striking, not the best. No defense. His striking defense is god awful. He gets punched and then like laughs at the guy or sticks his tongue out or something. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Do you think you're gonna do anything going up and fighting other guys? Like,
I think like a Cody Garbrandt would give him a little bit of issues in terms of their striking.
Anybody who has good like precision striking is just gonna punch this guy and get out of the way before he can hit them again. So he's got to rely on his cardio and conditioning. So I actually thought, even though he won, I didn't think he looked that great in this fight. I
thought he went out there and did what he was supposed to do. And I know he's a little bit hittable, but I wasn't really expecting much of a punching power from Casey Kenny. I was just thinking if anything, it was going to be Casey Kenny kind of like getting the better of the scrambling in the first round and a half. But he wasn't even able to do that. I thought Merab won the first round.
I actually scored the first round for Kenny when I was watching it live. And now I thought, though, everybody's going to score this for Merab. But I think Kenny landed the better strikes there. Merab had some cage control, but I think if you look at the actual just the striking, the better shots, Casey Kenny was landing better. Even though Merab was doing the pressuring and all that, that's what his defense is not good. He was getting.
I want to see the stats on this actually.
Now, I did feel everyone's going to score that first round for Merab, but
12 takedowns.
It did feel like a Casey Kenny round to me.
Let's see the striking. Kenny did have the advantage in significant strikes by 3 punches.
Okay, but still, it's more damage, though. Merab didn't land as much damage. And he
4 of 6 on takedowns.
He didn't really do shit with the takedowns in that first round in terms of damage.
Total strikes 43 to 24 for Merab. Almost doubled him.
But that's what I mean. The quality of strike, when I saw like the better strikes being landed, I was like, Casey Kenny's landing better here.
So the one judge did actually give it a 29-28, which is, I'm assuming.
Now, let's go into the scoring. This is the main thing I want to talk about for this fight. Now, I'm seeing a lot of people giving round 3 a 10-8. I actually, maybe I got to go rewatch, but my recollection of the fight was as soon as the fight was over, I thought they were all clear 10-9 rounds. I didn't think there was a 10-8 in there. I don't think he did enough damage.
2 10-8s by...
don't look. That's what I mean. That's what I was fucking trying to get to. So, let's save that for that. I looked this up earlier. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me right now. Okay. So anyways, round 3, fine. Maybe there's an argument for a 10-8, right? Round 2 and 3, though, regardless, were clearly for Merab. Round 1 I thought was a little close, but most people probably gave it to Merab. So fine, 30-27, 30-26, even a 29-28. Now, round 1, Derek Cleary scores it 10-9 Kenny.
Yeah.
Esther Lopez scores it 10-8 Merab. How the fuck does a round get scored 10-9 for one guy and then 10-8 for the other guy? That's a record. That's a fucking record.
That is insane.
Not to mention, how the fuck... How does he give round 2 a 10-9, but round 1 is a 10-8?
Oh,
Merab barely fucking won round 1, even if he did win it. How is that a 10-8? But then round 2 he easily won, and that's a 10-9. What the fuck is going on here?
He had a couple of like slams in that first round too, which may have like. But either way,
it's a close round. Not enough. It's a close.
That was still not enough.
The fact that one judge could score for the other guy means there's no way that's a 10-8 for the other guy. Like, what is happening there? I saw that and I'm like, oh, I got to discuss this shit with you.
36% of fans had it at 30-26.
Yeah, apparently round 3, I guess because of the control, they liked it enough to give it a 10-8, which I'm okay with. Maybe I got to rewatch and maybe I would agree with it. But 10-8 round 1, that is absurd.
That's a little crazy. Yeah, not even there's 9% of fans that gave it a 10-8 to Dvalishvili, which y'all should not ever go on MMA decisions ever again. And that's from 11 scorecards actually. So it might just be like one fucking guy.
That's how you know how shitty an event is. When you look at fans scorecards,
it's like less than 50 votes or some shit.
And it's like, oh, nobody fucking watched this damn card.
Okay, at least there wasn't an egregious score. At least like where it's like the wrong guy won. Like
there was no robbery.
There's no robbery. But
hey, man,
you gotta call that out.
This is still something.
I did click on this guy's name, Esther Lopez. So let's see what this guy. He has 3 fights on his fucking thing right now. Dvalishvili, he had 29-28 Holtzman. And 30-27 De La Rosa. Why is he even? He only has 3 fights. I don't know if MMA Decisions doesn't have all of this guy's fights.
Yeah, what the?
But he only has 3 fights. I kind of believe that because this is Albuquerque.
It's Albuquerque, and they suck. Yeah, all of them suck. Is there a good one? Isn't CSAC like the only one? That's
I think that's the decent one. But even then, they're a little bit sketchy. Yeah. Remember they accepted the John Jones fight for the Gustafsson thing day of, switched the event or whatever the fuck it was, or week of.
It feels like they do more though in terms of making sure they don't have like shitty judging and reffing things. Like maybe corruption in terms of getting fights approved. That's a different story because it's money. But
yeah, is there anything else on this? On the card that you want to touch on? Blachowicz and Rodriguez got a performance of the night, which is great for them. Holtzman and Miller fight of the night, not bad. I'm okay with that. I mean, there wasn't really anything else that was much more exhilarating than that.
It was a good fight, fun fight. They kept going at it. So.
And then let's just quickly look forward to Felder versus Hooker. 7 p.m. main card start time. Hallelujah.
All right.
Right?
On a Saturday?
On a Saturday, sup. Announced bouts: Loma Lukbunmi versus Angela Hill. I love Lukbunmi. She's a really good Muay Thai fighter with decent ground game. Angela Hill's been looking really good. Jalen Turner versus a short notice fighter in Joshua Kulibao. Priscilla Castro versus Shadow Dobson should be sloppy as fuck. Maki Pitolo trying to redeem himself after getting finished by a shitty guy against Takashi Sato. I think I showed you the odds on this next one. Kai Kara-France versus Tyson Nam. I think I asked you to get. What do you think the odds should be for this?
I don't remember you asking me about this one. Okay, Tyson Nam versus Kai Kara-France is that French kickboxer, right?
No, he's from City Kickboxing.
I'm thinking of Tom Duquesnoy. I don't know why.
He lost to Brandon Moreno last time around. Beat Mark De La Rosa. Beat Harlan Paiva in a fight that he should have lost. Only won that fight because of the fans' reactions because it was in Australia. Elias Garcia he was on the Ultimate Fighter flyweights.
Okay.
He's on the flyweights thing.
Odds on this fight.
Against Tyson Nam. You know Tyson Nam a little bit?
Yeah.
Remember he beat Eduardo Dantas
and then...
Kind of like... He beat Ali Bagotinov as well.
Yeah. He's just...
Knocked him out.
He's got those tiny little claims to fame, but outside of that, he's a pretty mediocre fighter. He loses pretty easily to other guys.
So an uneducated odds maker guess right now.
An uneducated? They might have Kai Kara-France as a heavy favorite. Like minus 250, plus 190.
Let's see.
I mean, it should probably be way closer.
Okay, it's getting closer now. So minus 265 Kai Kara-France, plus 225. It was a little bit crazier before though. Minus 312.
Based on what I kind of know there, because I remember Kai Kara-France on Tough, now that you mention it, but I would say that should be close to like a pick'em, like minus 150 maybe. I
was expecting like plus 180-ish, plus 160 on Tyson Nam.
Okay.
Look at him. Open minus 350 Kai Kara-France. A little bit ridiculous.
That's insane.
A little bit ridiculous.
Look at who Nam can put out. And it's not like Kai Kara-France is a fucking world beater here.
He gets hit too. I'm definitely going to take a shot on Tyson Nam here. Let's see the rest of the card. Callum Parr against Song Kanan should be a fun fight. Jake Matthews against Emil Mek, who hasn't fought in fucking forever.
Yeah, since since
Jake Matthews is a huge favorite over him as well for some reason.
Jake Matthews getting swole. Remember when he was like a lightweight and all young?
But he came in at like 18 years old.
Yeah, I know. Shit. And then he was like a welterweight and so jacked. I'm like, holy fuck.
Kevin Aguilar against Tukakov, decent fight. Mustafaev against Riddell should be a very fun fight.
Oh my
Riddell's
God,
very fun.
I tripped out. Because from here, I was like, am I seeing Brad Pickett? And then I realized it was Riddell. I'm like, oh shit.
No, dude.
Like Brad Pickett came back? What the fuck?
Brad Riddell against Jamie Malarkey from that last Australia card was ridiculous.
If they matched up Brad Pickett against a Magomed, oh my God.
Coming off of a retirement.
Not fair, dude. A 25-year-old Magomed. Come on, dude.
Karolina Kovacevic against Yan Xiaonan. Kovacevic is about to get fucked up.
Karolina's one of those girls, like, I look at her and you just love her. She's so cute. But she's so fucking terrible at fighting. Her fight IQ.
She doesn't evolve at all. She doesn't evolve at all.
No evolution.
No.
No change in her defense. Relying on toughness. Not getting better. Closing your fucking eyes against Jessica Andrade and getting knocked out. What are we talking? Like
the main thing I'll give her is her ability to want to take fights as challenging as these.
Yeah, because she's tough. She's a very tough girl and good offense.
Yeah.
Your defense is terrible. You got to work at this shit. But
this is probably going to be your chopping block fight.
Yeah,
I do think I'm probably going to make Yan my lock of the night play. Even at minus 250, I'm completely okay with that. But like, look at her record.
Shitting the bed.
3 straight losses. Jessica Andrade, I'll give her that one.
And
Michelle Watterson, she should probably
was a close one. I think she won it, but it was close.
And then Alexa Grasso, she should be beating a girl like that. In this stage in her career, she should be beating Alexa 100%. Grasso. And Yan Xiaonan, I think we're eventually going to have a China on China crime with her and Zhang. I think they're definitely going to end up fighting each other. Obviously, it depends on how Zhang gets past Joanna coming up. Ben Sassoli against Marcos Rogerio de Lima.
I hate
another fight card where we get the third last fight as a sloppy heavyweight slugfest possible.
That Rogerio de Lima get fucked. That guy. He's shit. He's garbage.
Lost to Stefan Struve last time. I'm pretty sure.
You lose. You get finished by Stefan Struve. Get the fuck out of my face. You suck.
Jimmy Crute against Mikhail Oleksiejczuk should be a great fight.
That's a fun fight.
I think that's a fun fight. I like Mikhail, but I can't trust him after his loss to OSP. Can't trust him.
Yeah.
I was high on that guy until he fought OSP and lost that fight.
He's young and dumb. You could tell.
Yeah. Great striking, decent enough. Well, his cardio looked good up into that OSP fight, which is where it really dropped for him. And then main event, Paul Felder against Dan Hooker. Amazing fight.
That's a great
I'm
fight.
So torn on this fight.
Really?
I'm kind of torn. Like I initial lean was Dan Hooker, but I like Felder, man. I do like Felder. You're taking Hooker all day?
Bruh. Easy layup for Dan Hooker here.
Really?
Easy.
Interesting. Interesting.
Easy win.
I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a lot closer than that.
Paul Felder is good. He's tough. He is not as dynamic as Dan Hooker. He arguably lost his last fight. I know he did beat the guy that beat Hooker up as well, but just based on how they've looked since then and the fact that Hooker's getting better and better and he's coming out of that team, he's way bigger. Fighting in his home
country-ish.
He's fighting at home.
Let's say home continent.
5-round fight. I don't know. I really like Dan Hooker in this.
I think it's minus
170. Fuck yeah, I'll take Dan Hooker.
Minus 170, minus 140, dude.
Oh my god, I will. This fight's that close on paper, eh?
I'm telling you, like he opened minus 120 pick'em, then he got drived all the way down to minus 180, minus 170, and then slowly picked back up, and now he's roughly around minus 140.
I just feel like Paul Felder. He's good at getting in your face and making it a fight. That's not a good style to go against Dan Hooker.
If he can push it and land good enough shots while getting out of the way of Hooker's shots, he can make it interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not too keen on this fight.
I'm just saying mine. Yeah, like when I look at that, I'm like,
I was right off the bat too. I was on Dan Hooker too, but I haven't looked into this fight the closest yet, which I need to do. But man, I think it is much closer, and I'm glad that the odds reflect that. I think it's going to be a close fight.
I honestly think Dan Hooker's going to... I think like his weakness seems to be a guy like a Barboza who can throw so many dynamic strikes and then it kind of freezes him up.
Felder's capable of that, but not as much.
He's more generic, more kind of run-of-the-mill. And the way he looked against Iaquinta, Dan Hooker did, I don't know, man. I think Iaquinta takes out Felder.
I think a part of it for me also is the fight IQ I feel that I'm feeling from Paul Felder strictly through his announcing alone. Very smart announcer. He sees all the shit.
Yes, but I still feel like his performance against Barboza should have been better if that was the case. It could have been
still Barboza.
Better. Yeah.
Right?
And I actually still do agree that he won. I know most people thought Barboza won, but Hey, man.
That was where like
when they got the
Barboza
takedown,
took him down and Felder was still doing the damage off the top.
Felder did all the damage. Barboza literally lost the round because of the fact he went for a takedown. He would have won that round if he didn't get the takedown.
Poor guy.
That's what I felt like because he got damaged up. But yeah,
so Felder's 5-1 in his last 6. The Mike Perry loss was unfortunate because he broke his arm in the first round and still went on to get a split. It was a split loss.
Yeah, it was a tough fight. And
that was at welterweight as well, too.
His most impressive win to me by far is the Charles Oliveira. Because
that was a great
took him down, had his back, had him in the grappling position. He still got out of all that, then fucked him up by TKOing with elbows in the guard, in Oliveira's guard. I thought that was the most impressive performance.
Good for him, like to get that victory there. So I am giving like the James Vick fight was decent for him too.
It was all right. It wasn't that great though. Even that, but he did have a collapsed lung. I
didn't know about that.
He had a collapsed lung.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he still won a decision
during the fight. Obviously.
Something like that happened in the fight. Yeah. So like after the fight, he was in the hospital for like a deflated or collapsed lung. Yeah. He was not even getting air, pretty much. So
decent enough performance from him.
Yeah, I just feel because another thing you have to understand: fight to fight, right? Who's going to be getting better more, Dan Hooker or Paul Felder? Dan Hooker is way younger.
Could be.
He's probably getting better way faster. Not to mention that team, that City Kickboxing team.
They've been putting stuff together really well too.
Jesus, dude, they're on some next shit right now.
Oh shit. Bare knuckle fighting was last night too.
Yeah, who gives a
Hector
fuck?
Lombard. He won? Oh, okay.
Decision.
You've already gone through this. I wouldn't mind saying the highlights.
You can't knock people out.
Oh, come on.
Well, that's all you're good for.
7th fight of the night bonus for Jim Miller. Good for him.
So yeah.
I just want to make sure there's nothing
my
else
lock of the night for next week is Dan Hooker. Minus 140. 5 units.
Let's see. Is there any dogs you see on here barking?
Oh yeah, okay. I guess Tyson
Brad
Nam.
Riddell might be
Tyson Nam just because of those fucking odds.
Oh yeah, for sure. Him, Riddell is somebody that I'm going to be looking at. Yad is going to be my lock of the night play. No bones about that. Who was the other dog that I was looking at? Loma Lukbunmi is somebody that I'm going to be looking into. Plus 170, I wouldn't mind that. She was supposed to fight
this. Is she more of a grappler or striker?
Trains out of Tiger Muay Thai, but has won a couple of her fights through grappling though. Okay. So she has good. So
that's actually a good matchup because they're both kind of not the greatest grapplers, but good strikers.
I agree.
That's actually a fun matchup.
Yeah, I think Brad Riddell is the only one that really barks out to me right now.
Emil Meck.
And that's really about it. I'm not confident in Jimmy Crute, but not confident enough in
the only one I feel good
either.
about is Dan Hooker. I would probably put money on Dan Hooker.
All right.
I'm just trying to see if I could parlay him with some other favorite to get plus odds. I would probably try and do that.
Square move, Tony. Square move.
Got to get those plus odds.
We're going for sushi very shortly. Thank fucking God. It feels like forever since we've done that shit.
Yeah.
It's been like, what, a month and a half, 2 months?
Yeah.
Have we done it since the New Year?
I think me, James, and Zane might have done it last.
I think there was one time where you guys went without me, but...
No, I think the last time was with you. I think me, you, and James
at 365,
something like that.
365.
No, we did 168 last time.
168. That's what I'm talking about. Why am I saying 365?
Yeah, where's 365?
Beast in 368 or whatever the fuck it is. That's
that sport betting site.
Yeah, bet 365.
That's what it is.
I got betting on my mind. God damn. Anything else you want to touch on for this week? I think we covered pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
Reyes Jones too. That's what we've. That's pretty much what this card was. Rio Rancho was like next light heavyweight contender. Let's see what we get.
Yeah.
And even with Jan Blachowicz probably getting the most dominant victory you could get.
Best case for him.
For him, yeah. To argue for a title shot.
That's the funny part. Best case scenario for him.
And we still want
Still might not get him a title shot. Like,
and we still
what
want
could I have done? Honestly, you couldn't have done anything. I'm sorry.
But for him, he can still argue the case that make me the backup and I'll train, wait, and ready for that. And either outcome... I'll also be ready for the winner of that fight. Unless Dominic Reyes fights.
The only way he probably could have jumped in was if he like out-grinded Corey Anderson and like choked him out in the 4th round. Then we would have been like, holy fuck. This guy outstruck him then out-grappled him and choked him out.
It's funny how we see that as more of a convincing win than like a quick knockout.
One-punch knockout because, dude, you can make a mistake. Actually, this is something we didn't point out.
Go for it.
What the fuck is Corey Anderson doing throwing a leg kick in the pocket?
Yeah.
He's in boxing range with a striker throwing a leg kick with his face exposed. Horrible
I remember
mistake.
his face was like this, and he just got
Terrible
fucking, like,
mistake.
right there.
You
Poor
don't
guy.
do that. That is, I don't know. There was a fighter online. I think he pointed it out. It's like throwing a leg kick in the pocket. Like
Not the best thing to do.
Yeah, that's just a bad mistake at this level too, to be making mistakes like that. But like the whole thing is like that one mistake, and now it's like so devastating. But if you grind out a guy, then it's like even when he makes a mistake, he's not put out, and he can come back, and you still keep. You know what I mean? Like forcing it and stuff. That's just better. Like
can we say that Corey Anderson is the Cowboy Cerrone of the light heavyweight division? Always gets right there, but never able to get to. Well, I guess
not
Cowboy
as exciting
has gone,
for sure.
but I just mean like in terms of career progression, right?
Yeah.
Cowboys actually had 2 title shots. So
no, okay, this is why, because even when Anderson wins, sometimes it's close or debatable. Whereas Cowboy, like when he wins, he wins.
I mean, in terms of just career,
getting there,
like just always right there, but just never able to get it.
I wouldn't say that because he's not always right there. He was kind of right there, then he lost, then he got this. This is like the second time he was there.
Touche. Maybe I'm overblowing it a little bit.
Cowboy is though like that guy's just he doesn't seem to get his mental in order, man.
No.
He just can't get his mental in order.
Well, he lost his biggest shot against Connor, so whatever. Fuck that.
And totally got fucked around with the pay.
Oh, yeah. I don't even want to get into that because I might cry.
Ridiculous.
Might cry for that guy.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're not doing any deciding splits. There wasn't any controversial decision. The closest thing that we're thinking of doing is the DQs, but we've already covered that. We don't need a full deciding splits episodes on that. Next week, we're going to be going over UFC Auckland, and hopefully we get deciding splits off of that. Otherwise, I'm ready to go eat some fucking sushi.
Fuck yeah.
We're out of here. Later.